It's been 10 years since I've been on an airplane, but I was like, Los Angeles? I was like, I need to get my fears in check and hop on this plane. Hi guys, I am back from Los Angeles from Shelves in the City 2.0, and I have so much to tell you guys. I had such a phenomenal time. HarperCollins, with their imprints, Harper Voyager, Epic Reads, and Avon Books took such good care of us in LA. Because I'm alumni and I had been at shows in the city in New York City for the first year, I was invited a day early for Alumni Day, and I was like, what does that entail? But it was really nice. They really just wanted to show their appreciation for us because without us, the influencers that had been there the first year, there wouldn't have been any success with Shelves in the City. So I hopped on the plane to LAX with a dream in my cardigan. I'm sorry. I have to stop. I hopped on the plane. I left out of DC and I flew 5.5, almost 6 hours to LA. And it was a smooth ride. I hadn't been on a plane in a long time, so I was pretty nervous, but I think my excitement for the trip overrode that nervousness. And I'm so glad that I just ignored those fears and pushed through. So I got to LA at about 11 a.m. and there was a car waiting for me and a few other influencers that arrived at the same time. We drove to the Four Seasons at Beverly Wilshire. Here's a quick tour of my room. I was astonished. It was just little old me. I walked into this room expecting just like a bed and a bathroom, but there was not one but two bathrooms, a big bed, an office area / space, and then a whole living room. I just could not believe it. I was quite fatigued from the traveling and I was just like, am I hallucinating? It was really, really crazy. I was so appreciative. After I settled down, I met up with one of my friends, Rachel. She is a bookish influencer on TikTok and on Instagram. Her name is Fallen Into Fantasy, and she's amazing. I love her analysis. We have very similar tastes, and I just love listening to her talk about books. So if you're not following her, I recommend it. She lives in LA, so she showed me around. We went to lunch and we did some exploring down Rodeo Drive. I wasn't going to spend any money there, but it was really nice just looking through the windows. And she gave me a tour of the area. We went to this really nice place and we had some lunch. I had probably one of the best salads of my life. The matcha was really good as well. And then after that, after we hung out for a bit, I went back to my room and I got dressed for the welcome dinner. So we went to a restaurant called Lulu where we met up with Victoria Aveyard. She was alumni as well. She was an author that was there last year in New York City. She welcomed us with a speech and then it was time to eat. And I was so hungry. Now, this is a different experience than I think most diners will experience at Lulu because it was an event. So there was a meal by course. And I'm a vegan, so I couldn't eat most of the options that were on the menu. And I don't know if it was because it was so many people, because I know they had a lot of other diners that were there, as well as us. There was probably about 60 of us alone. They kept like not giving me every course that was the vegan option. But luckily, because it was just like plates to share, for every course that I didn't get, Starry Steph, who is an influencer here on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram as well, received the vegan option. And for every course that she didn't receive, I received. So while everybody's, sharing the plates at our table, me and her were passing our plates across the table. So it all worked out. It was fine. The food was really, really good. I really enjoyed the main entree. It was like creamed potatoes and cauliflower with like eggplant. Oh, it was so good. It's probably one of the best things that I had. There was a starter there that was really good as well. It was like lettuce with hummus and beets and orange and pomegranate. So that sounds insane, but I ate it up. It was so good and I have to try to recreate it. I didn't know that I liked beets until that dinner. Welcome dinner was amazing. It was so nice seeing all of the bookish people that I've created these parasocial relationships with and then fostered real friendships with at New York City's Shelves in the City, seeing them again, reminiscing about all of the memories that we made together, how all of our journeys have been since then, what we've been up to, and then our excitement for the weekend to come. So I got to hang out with some of my friends. And then, of course, I got to sit with my friend Trey on the shuttle. And Trey is the best. If you are not following Trey, what are you doing? He's the most hilarious, most talented, most charismatic book influencer out there. And then after we left, we went to the Santa Monica Pier and they each gave us a card with some money on there so we could go to the arcade. I took some pictures with some friends and I think we just chatted, but it was pretty cold and we had all pretty much had a very long day, including travel. So we were all ready to hit the hay. So we headed back to the hotel. That's when I met with my partner. He flew in a day early, lucky. And he actually stayed a few days after I did, but I won't hold that against him. It's okay. His best friend lives in LA as well, so he was spending time with him and having his own fun. And then I went to sleep. I immediately went to sleep. Now, the next morning, we had a free morning because everybody that wasn't there for Alumni Day was coming in that Friday. So we didn't have anything planned until the welcome dinner, which was luckily also at the Beverly Wilshire Four Seasons in the ballroom. So that morning, me and my partner went out and did some exploring. We found this cafe where I think it was like Chaumont. And they had a vegan side and a non-vegan side. And here are some things that I got to choose from. Living in Virginia, there's a couple of places where I'm able to get really good vegan eats, but it's really far and few in between. So it was so nice being able to go to a cafe and not worry about anything on the menu not being vegan. I could literally just pick and choose. I didn't have to make any modifications. And it was such a privilege. I ended up getting this meal. It was like egg on a croissant with a salad, and it had like za'atar. It was phenomenal. It was so good. And I got this matcha. I meant to say ice, but I didn't, but it was okay. I enjoyed my hot matcha. My eyes were closed for half of this meal. Like, it was so divine. After that, I took my partner around and we did some exploring in the same areas that I went with my friend Rachel, and I acted like I was an expert, and it wasn't because she told me yesterday where all these things were. So shout out to Rachel for that. HarperCollins was kind enough to give us a credit to Nat and Elle's. It was like a deli, and my partner got French toast. I got some vegan soup, and they also had a pickle platter, and the pickles were so good. And then at that point, we parted ways, and I met up with a few friends to go to Erewhon to get my very first and only Erewhon smoothie, because while it was delicious, it was expensive. It was $21. It was $20 for the one that I was going to get, but of course I had to make a modification so that it was vegan. I didn't get the collagen in the smoothie that it came with, and they're like, well, would you like to get this vegan protein? And I was like, sure. Then they charged me $1. I'm sorry, if I'm not getting the collagen, I should get the protein for free. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. I enjoyed the smoothie. Sat outside, we chatted, we talked a bit, talked about books, what we were excited about for that day. And then I went back to the hotel and I got ready for the welcome party. Now, the welcome party was so fun. It was where we got to see everybody that had been there on Alumni Day and all of the new influencers that were invited this year as well as staff and authors. Me and my friend Amanda, we scoped out like where the authors were going to be sitting, and we like sat at a table pretty close. So we were like pretty good as far as being able to see our faves. Our faves being rfkuang and Annalisa Brana. So I was pretty excited about that. Like, if anybody got footage of us sitting at that table, like they probably just saw us like looking at the table the entire time, like looking crazy. Yeah, so we were told to sit down, find our place, go get some food. Then after we started eating, the panel started. So there was 2 panels. One was for romantasy, and the second was just for writing in general. And the panels were both so good. One was moderated by Eamon, and the other was moderated by Jack Edwards. They both did a phenomenal job. I just really enjoyed just basking in the bookish ambiance and appreciating being in the space with some of my favorite authors and being able to pick their brains and hear their thoughts about their process, about what led them to be authors and, you know, what their inspirations are. It was so wonderful. After that, they allowed us to do some shopping, and I'm going to show you guys in just a bit what I received. They gave us a big box and told us to fill it with whatever books we wanted, and they were signed by the authors that were there. There's also a tarot card reader. There were people that were allowing us to do like some foiling, like our own personal foiling to do on books that we could donate, which was really cool. Lots of opportunities for photos. There was an open bar. I didn't drink this night. I was just like honestly running on fumes, and I was just like moments away from disassociating, and I had to just keep it together. I was so tired. It was such a full weekend, but I was so exhausted. I do appreciate that this year we had a lot more free time than we did in NYC. The only thing is that I didn't use it as free time. I was just like, this is more time that I can do other things. So I was probably especially exhausted, but that was my own fault. I got to meet, and talk to some of my favorite authors. I took a photo with rfkuang. I took a photo with Annalisa Brana. I did a TikTok with Victoria Aveyard, with my friend Georgia. Yeah, we had a really good time. I sat and I chatted with some of my friends that I have parasocial relationships, and now they've become real relationships in person, which was such a nice thing. After the party, there was an after party / Wicked viewing. So in another section of the hotel, there was a huge screen and a theater where we were able to watch Wicked. They had some books from the Wicked franchise available for us to grab. And on the other side of that wall, there was a tattoo artist, and I got my second Shelves in the City tattoo. There was a whole page of things that we could choose from, and I was really going back and forth between like an arrow for Hunger Games or the Song of Achilles. There was also a sword that I was going to tell myself was Excalibur for Brie Matthews and the Legendborn cycle, but I eventually decided to get, I'll show you guys here, but it's kind of a weird angle, this book here, because I got this book last year, or this stack of books, which I love, but I was just like, I can never see it. I can't see it myself unless I'm like in a video. I got one that faced me, and I really love how it's an open book with magic coming out, because books are magic. They really are. It didn't hurt at all. I don't know if it was the placement, but I honestly didn't feel a thing. And then after I got my tattoo, I went to bed. I think the movie had like maybe 15 minutes left. And I was just like, I'm tired. It's time to go to bed. I went to bed. My partner had DoorDashed me a vegan banh mi burrito. And it sounded so good, but it honestly wasn't very good. I love banh mi's and I love burritos, and I think somebody could have executed it well, but whoever I ordered it from did not execute it very well. And I kind of got a tummy ache, and I didn't need a tummy ache, but I'm only running off 4 hours of sleep. So I was very, very scared. I was like, am I going to be okay tomorrow? I'm going to have to get in the shuttle. Am I going to survive? Am I going to vomit on people? I didn't. It was all well. So I ate the burrito. I went to bed. The next morning, I went to breakfast downstairs at the Boulevard. It was the restaurant inside of the hotel, and we all had a credit for there. I got an oatmeal and a latte. I'm not an oatmeal girl, but it was the only vegan option. So at least at breakfast. Apparently they had really good options throughout the day, but breakfast, it was just oatmeal. So Boulevard, good on that. Not every vegan just wants oatmeal. I wanted something else. Anyways, after that, we split up in two groups. Half of us went to the LA Food Bank, volunteer, and put boxes together for families in need. And the other half of us went to Reparations Club, which is a Black woman-owned bookstore, to help donate a book for people that were in need. And this was all for us to be able to give back to those who were affected by the wildfires in Los Angeles. Reparations Club was beautiful. It's like the dream of my life to own a bookstore like that. And I just really loved the owner and how much she cares about her community and wanting to give back, and how much she cares about the bookish space and the bookish community. So we grabbed a coffee there. We each picked one book to donate to rebuild someone's shelves. And then from there, we kind of had some free time. After that, we went back to the hotel and we got some lunch. They provided lunch for us. And then we were on our own for a bit until, what was Saturday night? Oh, we were on our own until the final dinner, which was really, really fun. It was the final party. So I went with my partner because I had been given, some vegan options, but I'm a vegan ethically, but not really for dietary reasons. So I will eat a vegan burger. Give me some French fries. And I just felt like I needed something with some grease in it. So we wandered out and we went to Burger Lounge, and I got a burger there. It was pretty good. And then I got ready for the party. And this is what I wore. The party was at Fox Studios lot, the one that is a replica of New York City, where a lot of TV shows and movies that are filmed in LA that take place in New York City are made. So it was really cool. And some of my favorite eats that I had on this trip was at this party. There were vegan hot dogs. It was vegan pastrami. It was so many good things. They had coffee for us. There was open bar. I didn't drink again, but it was available. There was also permanent jewelry people there. So I got this bracelet and I love it so much. I also got the opportunity to talk to some new people that I didn't get to speak to earlier in the trip. And then there was a couple of authors that were there. So Adam Silvera made it to the party, as well as Elise Myers. Elise Myers is an influencer, as I'm sure you all know. She has her debut book coming out with HarperCollins this year. And it was so funny because, me and a couple of friends were talking to her. And she's like, hold on 1 second, I'm gonna go grab a snack. So she goes and she grabs 2 meat sticks, and apparently she'd been thinking about these meat sticks all night, and we had distracted her from her meat stick journey. So she comes back and she's like, would you like a meat stick? And I'm just like, oh, I'm okay. I'm vegan. Her eyes get so big. She felt like she offended me so badly. She takes not just the meat stick that she was offering me, but the one that was in her mouth. She was ready to bite down. She pulls it out of her mouth, tosses them both in the trash, and then takes a beeline down the street. And I was like, Elise, what are you doing? Please, no, live your life. I'm not going to judge you. This is my decision. You can eat whatever you want. She was mortified. And I was just like, no, it's okay. It's absolutely fine. So by the time she came back down the street, I had like 2 more meat sticks. I was like, please eat your meat sticks. Like, please. She was so nice. And here's a picture of us together after the meat stick. She called it a pity kebab, but I will forever say that it is a love kebab moment. So that was just like a nice core memory. She actually talked about this a bit on her page. So if you want to see a little quick story time from Elise about the meat stick that I gave her, it's there. Yeah, that was so much fun. We ended up doing some dancing and then it was time to go home. The next day there was a brunch, a drag brunch that Adam Silvera hosted. And I wasn't able to attend because my flight left really early that morning. My weekend ended Saturday night. But I had such a blast. And now the time is here that you all have been waiting for, the book haul from Shelves in the City, LA, 2025. And I kind of blacked out when I grabbed some of these things. It was quite chaotic. We're going to start right out the gate with the bangers. The Poppy War by rfkuang. This is the new special edition. As you can see here above me, I own the original hardcovers. So I was like, I don't need this, because then I'm going to have 6 of them. Because if I get one, I have to commit to the other 2, and I don't need it. So I told myself I wasn't buying it, but then it was there. And now it's in my hands and in my possession and in my collection. And it's signed. Some people were smart enough and had the foresight to hold on to their signed books that they bought at the shopping section, so the authors that were in attendance could personalize them. I wasn't one of those people. And I do have my proof of Katabasis that I could have brought to have signed and personalized, but I didn't want to be a nag. And then I saw other people was there with theirs, and I had regret and FOMO. But it's okay, because I ended up getting the official arc for Katabasis, and I already read this book and I loved it. I talked about it on a previous video. I've got a full review on my TikTok and Instagram pages, and this one's signed as well. So this one goes here now, and this goes on my shelf of arcs. I've got like above my desk a shelf of arcs that I love. I also read my first B.K. Borison book right before we left for the trip. It's the one inspired by Sleepless in Seattle, First Time Caller, and it was really good. I love that the FMC was older. This is an arc of her new book called Good Spirits, and this one is signed as well. War of the Tides by Annalise Sobrana. I also finished this book while I was on the plane on the way to LA. I had an e-arc of it, so I got this signed copy. At the Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley, and this one is also signed because she was in attendance. I'm not a big thriller girly, but this sounds so intriguing. Victoria Aveyard was also there again, so this is a special edition of her first book in her first YA trilogy. This is Red Queen. This one is also signed. And Tahira Mafi was also in attendance, so I've got a signed special edition of Shatter Me. Skin by E.B. Zoboy. This is a book that's written in verse, and I'm super excited to get into this one. I Am Not Jessica Chen, and this is by Anne Leong, and I'm not exactly sure what this is about at all, but this cover was absolutely stunning, so I had to pick it up. Transmogrify 14 Fantastical Tales of Trans Magic. This is edited by G. Heron Davis. Magic is for everyone, and I just love the representation. I love the color and the cover itself. This sounds so good, so I had to grab this as well. I always struggle to say this word, so please don't correct me meanly in the comments if I say it wrong. But The Macabre by Kosoko Jackson, and I heard this is really good. Looking forward to reading this one. And the last 2 were books that I received during the Wicked screening, because I already own all of the other editions. The film edition with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande on there. I've got the 25th anniversary edition, and I've got the new paperback ones with like the black edges. We'll have the advanced reading copy for Elfie, so I grabbed the finished copy of Elfie. Love this. And I also grabbed the graphic novel of Wicked as well. So those were the books that I received on my haul in LA. Shipped the box to us. I just received it in the last couple of days. So super excited about these and finding places for them on my shelves. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I have no space. Like, I'd have to commit this whole shelf to rfkuang. And I don't know if I want to do that. And even if I did do that, my Babel tower wouldn't be in the middle anymore. These are the things that I think about. Like, I was thinking about this on the plane, like, where am I going to put these books? Reorganizing my bookshelf is my favorite pastime and also my biggest chore. But chores being pastimes is a very type A eldest daughter thing. I know that there was a lot of discourse about the trip while we were there and after we got back. Statement saying that the attendees were anti-Palestinian and didn't support the St. Martin's Press boycott. I made one statement saying, well, that's not true, because I have yet to talk about a St. Martin's Press book, and I have always supported Palestine. I actually have a Palestinian book recommendation playlist on my TikTok as we speak, and I got blocked. It's fine, though. It's fine. I think that we have to allow some grace for people, because I think sometimes personal feelings get involved, and then they don't really unpack that, and then they spew out things that aren't very true, and that's fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I think that if you can go to an event and understand the nuance behind the issues with publishing and how there is room to grow, there is equity that needs to be had, and diversity and inclusion, and hold space for that while still enjoy brand trips or influencer events, I think that it's your due diligence to extend that same grace to others, because you're not in anyone's mind, you're not in anyone's brain, you don't know what they're thinking or how they feel about those things, because I guarantee you, me personally, felt the same way. I can understand the nuance behind there needing to be changed and still enjoying myself in this capacity, especially considering the stories that I choose to shed light on are diverse stories. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, so aside from a little bit of drama after we got back, this was a wholesome experience. I had such a phenomenal time. I really hope that one, they do it again, and two, they invite me back, because I don't know how I could go forward with life without seeing all of my favorite bookish friends all in one place and traveling together without doing it at least one more time. Thank you if you guys are still here, just watching me ramble about this trip that I took and the people that I met and the things that I did. But yeah, now that I'm home and I've had some time to unwind, because let me tell you, your girl was overstimulated. I mean, stress is stress. You have good stress and you have bad stress. This was definitely good stress, but it was stress. And then I'm also a mom, so I came back and I was on LA time and my kids were waking up 3 hours before I was ready to wake up. So I was struggling, but had to take a step back, make sure to take care of my physical and mental health. But I plan to be right back at it with the vlogs. This was also a lesson in having to film for long form content. Clearly, if I'm sitting here in front of my bookshelves, I didn't do as much as I needed. So I learned that lesson. Just such a thin line between living in the moment and capturing content. Ugh, I wish I had someone else to do it for me. I need like a whole crew, because I can't do both. I got to figure out the balance better. So the next time I do one of these things, I'll have more footage for y'all. I promise. But thank you for being here, and I'll see y'all in the next one.